The Stoic way to win respect without saying a word, without mentioning any historical figures. True respect is not demanded, nor is it bought with flattery or noise. It is earned quietly in the shadows of your consistent actions, in the way you carry yourself when the crowd has no eyes on you. Words are cheap, they evaporate into the air, but character steady, disciplined, and unwavering leaves an imprint on every soul that witnesses it. To win respect without uttering a single word, you must first govern yourself. Restrain the impulse to react in anger when provoked. Hold your ground in adversity, not because you seek applause, but because your integrity will not bend to circumstance. The one who can endure insult without bitterness and hardship without complaint is already speaking more loudly than 1,000 empty speeches. Let your conduct reveal your values. Keep your promises, even the small ones. Show up on time, not because it is convenient, but because it is right. Treat those beneath you in station with the same dignity you afford those above you. People notice such things. They may not speak of it openly, but they store it away, and over time it becomes the bedrock of their respect for you. Do not decorate your life with boastful displays or chase recognition. The loud man demands attention. The quiet man commands it. When you live with discipline, act with justice, and meet the world with calm strength, you will discover that respect comes to you unbidden. It will not be the shallow respect born of fear or obligation, but the deep respect given to one whose life is proof of his words, even when no words are spoken. Self-mastery commands respect. Control your emotions and reactions. Discipline is a silent yet powerful statement. Self-mastery is the foundation of all lasting respect. To command yourself is to command the way the world sees you. Many try to earn respect by controlling others, asserting dominance, or demanding recognition, but the Stoic understands that the truest form of power lies in governing one's own mind and actions. The person who can restrain his tongue in anger, who can meet insults with composure, who can walk through chaos without losing his balance, this person speaks volumes without uttering a sound. Self-mastery begins with the recognition that you are not at the mercy of events or people, but of your own perceptions and choices. When something happens outside your control, you decide whether to respond with patience or impatience, courage or fear, understanding or judgment. This is not weakness, it is strength in its purest form, for anyone can react, but only the disciplined can choose the higher path. In moments of provocation, your reaction becomes your reputation. A single uncontrolled outburst can undo months of quiet influence, while a moment of composed restraint can leave an impression that lasts for years. Those who watch you, whether friends, rivals, or strangers, draw their conclusions not from what you promise, but from how you conduct yourself under pressure. If your behavior is steady in storm and sunshine alike, they will see a person worthy of trust. And trust is the soil in which respect grows. Self-mastery also means refusing to be a slave to desire or ego, the urge to prove yourself, to answer every challenge, to always have the last word. These are chains disguised as freedoms. By breaking them, you gain the freedom to act only when action is needed. You conserve your energy for what truly matters, and you refuse to be pulled into petty conflicts. Over time, people notice that your silence is not weakness but strength, not fear but control. This kind of presence carries a weight that words cannot match. When you master yourself, you set the tone for every room you enter. Your calmness becomes contagious. Your measured actions set an unspoken standard. Those who are quick to anger, quick to complain, or quick to boast will find themselves subdued in your presence. Not because you have forced them, but because your example reveals the emptiness of such behavior. Respect is not won by making others feel small, but by showing them the height of what is possible when a person stands in command of themselves. The path to self-mastery is not easy, but it is simple. Observe your thoughts, question your impulses, choose the action that aligns with your principles, even if it costs you comfort. Over time, You will find that you do not need to announce your worth. It will be seen in your composure, heard in your silence, and felt in the steadiness of your presence. And when respect comes, it will come quietly, just as you have lived. Actions speak louder than words. Consistent, principled behavior earns deeper respect than speeches or boasts. Actions have always spoken louder than words, and in the pursuit of true respect, this principle holds absolute weight. Words can be rehearsed, dressed up, and delivered with perfect timing, but actions are lived out in the raw, often without shelter of preparation. When your conduct reflects integrity, discipline, and consistency, you are telling the world who you are in a way no speech ever could. It is easy to talk about values, loyalty, or honor, but it is in the moments when no one is watching, or when it is costly to act rightly, that your character is revealed. Respect built on words alone is fragile. Respect built on consistent action is unshakable. When people observe you living out your principles day after day, they begin to trust that what you do is a true reflection of who you are. If you claim to be honest, yet twist the truth when it benefits you, your words crumble. But if you speak little and act in alignment with your values, your reputation grows stronger without you ever having to defend it. The human mind naturally places more weight on what it sees than what it hears. A promise kept in silence makes a deeper impression than one proclaimed loudly and never fulfilled. Consistent action also has the power to influence without confrontation. When you embody patience in situations where most would lose their temper, those around you are reminded of what composure looks like. When you treat every person with fairness regardless of their status, others witness the meaning of true dignity. Without a single lecture or command, your life becomes a silent standard against which others measure themselves. This is influence in its purest form, guiding others without forcing them, inspiring without demanding their attention. The temptation to seek validation through words is strong, especially when you want others to know your intentions or give you credit for your efforts. But if you can resist that urge and allow your actions to be your voice, the respect you earn will be of a higher quality. People may forget the details of what you have said, but they rarely forget the way you have acted toward them, especially in moments that mattered most. Actions etch themselves into memory in ways words cannot. Living in such a way requires consistency. One honorable act does not define a person, just as one lapse does not destroy a lifetime of integrity, but patterns speak clearly. When you build a pattern of doing what is right, even when it is inconvenient or unseen, your example will outshine any argument you could make about your character. Over time, you will find that people listen to you more, not because you have talked your way into their respect, but because your life has proven you worthy of it. In this way, actions do not merely speak louder than words. They make words unnecessary. Integrity in every interaction, keep promises, honor commitments, and treat all people with fairness and dignity. Integrity is the quiet foundation upon which lasting respect is built. It is not a matter of convenience or public image, but of living in alignment with principles regardless of who is watching. To keep your promises, even the smallest ones, is to show that your word is a bond, not a decoration for favorable moments. The measure of a person's integrity is not found in how they act when it benefits them, but in how they behave when there is nothing to gain, when keeping their word costs them time, effort, or comfort. People remember these moments far longer than they remember any speech about loyalty or trust. Treating all people with dignity is another mark of true integrity. It is easy to be respectful toward those who can benefit you or hold authority over you. But the true test comes in how you treat those who have no power over your life, those who cannot repay you in any way. Respect given to the powerless speaks volumes about your character, for it shows that you value human worth above status and fairness above self-interest. When people see you acting with this consistency, they begin to understand that your kindness is not a mask but a reflection of your inner values. Integrity also thrives in the small details that many overlook. Arriving on time shows that you value other people's time as much as your own. Following through on commitments, even when you no longer feel motivated, demonstrates that your decisions are grounded in principle rather than fleeting emotions. Speaking truthfully, even when it is uncomfortable, signals that you will not trade honesty for temporary approval. These small acts might seem insignificant, but together they form a powerful statement about who you are. The danger lies in thinking that integrity only matters in grand moments. Most people will never face a single life-defining decision that clearly separates the virtuous from the corrupt. Instead, we face thousands of small choices every day. Choices about whether to cut corners, whether to speak truthfully, whether to follow through on what we said. It is these daily decisions that shape how the world perceives us. If you are reliable in the smallest matters, people will naturally trust you in greater ones. Living with integrity does not require self-promotion. In fact, the loudest claims of honesty often come from those trying to mask the lack of it. When you quietly live in alignment with your principles without calling attention to yourself, others will notice on their own. They will observe your consistency and come to rely on it. Over time, respect will come to you not because you demanded it, but because you proved yourself worthy of it in countless unseen moments. Integrity needs no audience, but it always finds one, and in finding it, it earns a kind of respect that no amount of speaking could ever secure. Strength in silence, restraint, and calm presence inspire respect more than loud demands for attention. There is a strength in silence that many underestimate. In a world filled with voices competing to be heard, the one who can remain calm and composed stands out without effort. Silence, when chosen deliberately, communicates more than noise ever could. It shows control over impulse, mastery over emotion, and confidence in one's own presence. The person who feels no need to constantly explain, defend, or assert themselves projects a quiet power that others instinctively respect. This is not the silence of fear or insecurity, but the silence of someone who knows their worth and does not require validation to confirm it. When you meet provocation with calm, you demonstrate that your peace cannot be stolen by the actions or words of another. Many react immediately, raising their voices or rushing to respond, but in doing so, they surrender control. By holding your silence, you keep the upper hand, not to dominate others, but to guard your own dignity. In conflict, the one who speaks less often appears more measured and wise, while the one who rushes to speak risks exposing their lack of control. People remember composure under pressure far longer than they remember heated words. Silence also carries a sense of mystery. When you do not reveal every thought or feeling, people are left to observe your actions and draw their own conclusions. This invites curiosity and, over time, respect, because it suggests that your value is not based on constant performance. You are not scrambling to prove yourself, you simply are. Others begin to realize that your restraint is not weakness but a deliberate choice, an expression of discipline and self-mastery. Choosing silence does not mean avoiding communication entirely. It means speaking when it matters most and allowing your actions to fill the space in between. A single, carefully chosen statement can have far greater impact than a long explanation. Silence gives weight to your words because it shows that you do not speak for the sake of being heard. You speak because you have something worth saying. There is also a humility in silence. It acknowledges that you do not need to insert yourself into every conversation or win every argument. You trust that truth will stand on its own without you forcing it. This humility strengthens your presence rather than diminishing it, because others see that you are not ruled by pride. In the end, strength in silence comes from knowing that respect is earned through what you consistently do, not through how loudly you demand it. It is a steady presence that calms rather than provokes, that invites trust rather than suspicion. When you choose silence over needless words, you create space for your character to speak for itself, and in that space, respect grows quietly, just as you have chosen to live. Live your values daily. Let your example, not your voice, be the proof of your character. Living your values daily is the ultimate proof of character. It is easy to speak about principles, to write them down, or to claim them when questioned, but their true weight is revealed only when they are lived out in the small and ordinary moments of life. Your values are not proven in public declarations, but in the quiet choices you make when no one is keeping score. Each day is filled with opportunities to either align with what you believe or betray it for the sake of comfort, convenience, or temporary gain. The person who consistently chooses alignment builds a life that speaks with undeniable authority, even without words. Living your values requires more than good intentions. It demands discipline. It means holding to your standards when circumstances make it costly, when pressure tempts you to compromise, or when the easy path invites you to step away from your convictions. To be faithful to your values in the face of difficulty is to send a clear and lasting message to everyone who watches your life, that your principles are not for sale. People respect this, even if they disagree with your values themselves, because consistency is rare and costly. It also means being the same person in every environment. Too often, people shift their behavior to fit their audience, respectful to those above them, dismissive to those beneath, principled in public, careless in private. This inconsistency is noticed more than they realize, and it erodes trust. But when you live your values daily, you are the same in every setting. Your integrity does not depend on who is present, and your kindness does not depend on what you stand to gain. Others come to see that they can rely on you to be steady, and that steadiness is a cornerstone of respect. Living your values also shapes how you handle both success and failure. In success, it means remaining humble, not letting praise inflate your ego, and continuing to act with fairness and gratitude. In failure, it means accepting responsibility, learning from mistakes, and refusing to compromise your ethics to recover quickly. How you behave in these extremes reveals more about you than any claim you could make about your character. Over time, people will begin to notice not just isolated actions, but the pattern of your life. They will see that your choices are not guided by impulse or by the shifting winds of opinion, but by a stable compass that points toward the same direction no matter what storms arise. This quiet consistency builds a respect that cannot be demanded or manufactured. It is earned slowly through the daily work of living in harmony with what you believe. And when that respect comes, it will be unshakable, because it is built not on what you have said, but on the life you have lived.